All right, on today's episode of Python Papi, we're back inside our TensorFlow course, and we're still doing our malaria custom layers module. Let's have a look at what we went over today. Now, yesterday, if you recall, the last thing we went over was our building method, and today we're going to pick up what we left off. Now we can move on to building. Let's start by defining the build method, which just gets a parameter of self for now. Next, we will define our weights with self.weights and define our weights. We can do that by making self.weights equal to the self.addWeights method. This add weights actually comes with the layer class. So it's something that comes with the layer class. So we're able to call this add weight because we're inherited from the layer class. Next, we specify the shape. We are going to have our number of rows. So in rows, which is going to come from the inputs. And then we are going to have our number of columns, which is going to come from the output units we specified. To do that, we are going to pass in self.output units. To get a number of output units. So we get a number of output units. How do we obtain this number of input units? For now, we have the weights. Oh, I said it yesterday. We were gonna go over this later. We actually do go over it later on. I did some note taking, and we did get to this point, so we'll get there when we get there. For now, we have the weights. Next, we will add the bias by using self.biases, and this is also a weight. We will specify the number of output units using in rows. Since this is one dimensional, we'd only have one parameter. Now we will define our weights in bias matrix. Next, we will build our core method, which will have two parameters, self and input features. Now that we have that, what we're going to do is simply return the matrix modification, matmul, as we've seen already with the weights. We will return the tf.matmul with the parameters input features and self.weights. The reason that the input features comes before the self.weights here is because it's based off the equation of input bf times the weight f1. If we tried to run the weights f1 times the input bf, we would get an error. You can see they have to be lined up, BF and F1, because the F's is going to cancel out. If we try to run it like this, F1 and B1, it's not going to cancel out, so we would get an error there. And then we add the biases as parameters using the self dot, and then we add the bias as a parameter using the self dot bias. Now we can go back to the in rows. The way we're going to get this number of rows is going to be easy. Inside our defined build, all we need to do is specify that we have the input feature shape, which is going to be automatically come from the defined call parameter input features. Let me show you that really quickly. So we have our input feature shapes here, and that's going to be influenced by this input features here. Let me see, where did I go? Okay, and then we get the last dimension from our definition, see lines 125 and 133. You can see here, this is our definition. So that's what we're talking about when we say our definition, 125 to 133. And recall from our definition, we have a B by F plus B by F. B by F plus B by F. And so here we need the weights. It needs to be F by output. So to get the F from F of by output, we just need to take the input B of F and then get the last element of the input F. And there's a number of our columns here. So like I said, that's why we have to have the BF in the F output, or it was F1. We had in the example was F1, but O here just for output. So we have BF by F, and now to cancel each other out, that will leave our last element being the output or the number of columns we have. And this is how we get the input feature shape. We specify the index where we took it from. The -1 here is the last position of a list of values, and that was going to be the F here, and this B of F. So this is the last element here in this list, if you want to call it that, a list of values here. So this is going to be our number of columns. And I show you that inside of the code. You can see here our input feature shape is going to come from the last element inside of the input feature shapes. So if our input feature shape is a BF, it's going to call on that F, like I said. So that's what that is right there. So that's how we obtain this input feature shape value automatically. Now that's as far as we've gotten so far. Like I said, we're doing a lot more note taking. We are actually building the custom layer for now, but I guess we are learning all the concepts we need to learn as we move forward so we can build professionally and we can build confidently. But of course, I will keep you guys posted every step of the way. But for now, this is the Python Poppy. You guys stay Gucci.